Good morning. I'm Kelly DeMarco, and I have created these YouTube videos to track my husband's journey with multiple myeloma. He was diagnosed in June of this year, 2022, with a very aggressive form of metastatic bone cancer. And, I'm an occupational therapist. I'm a mom. We have a farm. I wear a lot of different hats that I know different people can relate to, and having cancer enter our life is just something that I felt compelled to kind of start talking about and writing about, so that I don't know, really it's a form of therapy for me to do these posts. So thanks for being here, and thanks for watching. I think the thing that I feel really compelled to speak about this morning is making room for the things that matter most in our lives. And in addition to being a therapist, I'm also a coach. I am a board certified health and wellness coach. I have decided to focus my coaching on climate coaching and helping people figure out how to navigate life during a time of climate crisis. I don't know where you stand on that particular issue, and it's fine wherever you stand. But for me personally, kind of looking out over the landscape of our planet and seeing the things that I see happen through the news and with my own eyes, I just felt like that was an arena I needed to work in, because it was the thing that gave me I think the best possible chance of just pursuing a life really that made sense to me. So having cancer come into our world in June was totally unexpected. I think 5 years ago, when we started on the journey of having a farm, well, we started this journey a little bit before that, but 5 years ago we took up residence here. And I felt a real sense of urgency around taking the step to having the farm when we did. Our daughters were younger at the time. They're now 11 and 14, and having a farm was something that just kind of moved in all of our hearts. And I thought, this window is probably closing quickly, and their desire to pursue this kind of life might not be for long. And I knew that having a farm meant that there would be a whole lot of physical labor too. And so my husband, being in his mid 40s at the time, that seemed like he was in his early 40s actually when we bought the farm, and it just seemed like better now than later, because I just didn't know if his body would be up to it later. So I'm sharing this right now in the midst of a week that has looked like Monday, chemotherapy and labs, Tuesday, dialysis, Wednesday, palliative care meeting, Thursday, oncology visit, GI appointment, Friday, dialysis and blood, Saturday, dialysis, Sunday, this is a whole new kind of day of rest. So I feel compelled to speak from this place of like extreme busyness, a new kind of busy, to just share how important it is for us as human beings to, and especially for those of you who are women, and I know that a lot of you who are following these posts are women, so I really want to speak to you, that it's so important to make room for you. It's so important to make room for the things that matter to you most. It's so important to find ways to do this in the midst of all of your busyness. Our lives, Tim and I, we had some major shift in our lives in 2013. And we both had been functioning as ministers and priests and running a meditation center and working with people through spiritual practices of all kinds. And in 2013, we had to step away from that because we had two small girls and we were moving further and further apart from each other, and we needed to find each other, and we needed to create a new kind of space in which our girls could grow and that we would be the ones for them to lean on. We had other people helping us, as we were trying to raise them while working and running some really busy schedules. We loved the work that we were doing. There was also challenges to the work that we were doing, and it eventually reached a point of okay, we can't keep doing this work. There were a lot of changes within the organization in which we were serving in, and for both of us, we kind of came to a decision for ourselves that we needed to transition. So that led to a really huge return to reconnect with family members and to reconnect with our love for the outdoors. And that led us down a path of which eventually led us to farming and tending to the land. And, but there's a lot about this particular life here on the land, farming, that was my husband's love. I love it too. I love helping. I love partnering with him. He was the one who really took the time to do all of the research, and it was his blood, sweat, and tears that really transformed this land from a rural farm property into a genuine farmstead. We still have a lot that we've wanted to do here. I think for me, my part was wanting to create a space for overnight stays and for people to come and have a beautiful place out in the country to retreat to. But my work also has been being the primary breadwinner, and working as an occupational therapist and a rehab manager and managing a team of people. And I knew when I was looking for work here that being a therapist in the ways that I had been a therapist in the past was no longer calling to me. So I took a job that now I've been managing a team of 70 therapists, and I took that job as opposed to others because I knew that it would grow me as a person. I love management. I love leadership. I love serving the people who are serving others out in the field, and I really do love learning what it is to be a good leader, and to be someone that people can look to and see more in themselves than they might have seen before. It's given me a really good opportunity to explore just power and leadership, and it's been a vehicle for my own growth. But I think within that, I've still had a yearning to help people in the one-on-one capacity in the way that I have in the past, but it needed to look more, it needed to be more in alignment with who I am now. And so what emerged for me was a desire to pursue coaching. So I became a board certified health and wellness coach. And within that, I realized that, as much as I love to help people with their own health and wellness and navigating hard and difficult health situations, for me personally, climate coaching was something that just emerged as, I think, as a result of my own personal mental health struggle with climate change, and with what's happening to our natural world. And, in my adult life, like, the devastation that I've seen to our natural world is just, I want to keep on the lens that helps me to see the good things that are happening. And I think having a farmstead, there's good things that are happening every day. But the devastation that I've seen from pine beetle infestation and dried out landscape in the Colorado area and the Rocky Mountains, and the wildfire devastation, the devastation I've seen on the West Coast and in the Pacific Northwest from wildfires. Just devastation that I've seen even here in Wisconsin to a lot of the trees that are, just were a given that they would always be here. I mean, there's forests just north of where we live that have been devastated by unprecedented tornadoes. There's areas that I used to mountain bike in when I lived here a long time ago that no longer have the ash trees that just created this like fairy-like magical forest in the fall, that are gone. And I think of our children. And when I was 11 and 14, like, I didn't fear whether the trees would be there, whether the earth would be, there for me, that the seasons would come and go in the same regularity that they've always come and gone. I didn't question those things. Not until I was 19, 20 years old, when I first learned about this phenomena of global warming and climate change. I mean, it was just like such a random thing for me to read this article, but it was something that, like, at the age of 20, it just seared deep into me. And following reading this article and learning about this phenomena of global warming and the eventuality of water wars and rising temperatures that would make life uninhabitable on this planet. I mean, that was like back in 1991, and no one around me was like, I would look around and realize that, like, nobody else had read that article. And for a long time I felt that way, like, gosh, like, this article that's like, has impressed upon me so deeply and has made me like question everything about, like, what are we doing and how are we living on this planet, and why are we doing the things that we're doing, and how do we do things differently? And for me, it began this journey of like collecting and analyzing waste. And I biked through Argentina to spread this environmental message and talk with people about trash. And on that trip, like, I saw waterways just clogged and jammed with trash. I saw people burning their trash because they didn't have the kind of like organized landfills that we have here. And that was creating a pollution of its own. I don't know. I just, like, my eyes just kept opening more and more and more and more. And then I came back to the United States after that, and I was just like, God, like, how can we not see the ways that we're devastating the very natural world on which we rely and depend on? So I didn't know how to make that work a day job. So I just kept doing it on the side. And then, you know, the climate, the eco-anxiety that I experienced that didn't have a name, you know, but was about to drive me to a point of suicide, like, led me to pursue intensive training in a spiritual order, because, like, I needed to have some peace within myself. I needed to anchor into something that was, like, beyond me or deeper than me. And so I did some really intensive work for the better part of 13 years, you know, and within that, I came to a place of peace and entered into marriage and entered into, like, birthing two beautiful children. You know, but in my reconnection with the natural world, the path that eventually led us to pursue having a farm, like, all of those feelings, all of those concerns for the well-being of our planet just resurfaced with a vengeance. And so prior to Timmy's diagnosis, I personally was like, just trying to lay down tracks to help women, women who have a lot of life experience. I feel like people who are my age who didn't grow up with the climate crisis staring them in the face. I feel like I know that you're all out there. Like, I talk to these women and they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do about this. Like, yeah, I see the news. Yeah, I see the changes in our environment around us. But I've got kids. I've got a husband. I have a job. I have a family. And I don't know what to do about our planet within all of that. And I don't know how to, you know, speak up and invite others to kind of join this movement. I don't know how you do that. And I've been thinking a lot about busyness. You know, this week has been so very busy. I mean, all of those things that I mentioned about Timmy's schedule, like, that's in addition to Anna having golf and her first golf meet, Emma having band camp the whole week. I have my full-time job, you know, that I show up to every day. Fortunately, right now we have my mom who's here to help with our garden, our some of our farm chores, and she's been able to extend her stay through early September. You know, but within all of that busyness, like, I did a podcast interview at 6:15 in the morning on Thursday, and I talked for a good hour and a half about what I'm really passionate about. I talked about kind of the connections that my own brain is drawing between, like, the way cancer impacts the body and the way climate change impacts our planet. I spoke about just, you know, the statistics are like 1 in 2 people will experience cancer during the course of a typical lifetime. Like 1 in 2. And that is in direct correlation with the changes and shifts on our planet. That there's, you know, as climate change increases, so do the rates of cancer. And I don't know where this journey is going. Like for us, I don't know where it's going for me, but what I'm feeling grateful for is that like I took the time in the midst of the busyness of having a farm and raising our daughters to, like, every single night I was spending time like figuring out how to create a website, building a website, starting a blog, taking the time to write. And I joined groups that, like Wisconsin Health Professionals for Climate Action. There were lots of different, I'm a part of Climate Coaching Alliance. I took a course called Climate Change Coaches. And on this side of it all, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that every step of the way, I took some time to listen and dial into like what's moving in my heart. Like there's a lot of need to take care of around me, but what's moving in my heart that I need to take care of for me? And it looked like tuning into my love and my passion for our planet and for the health and well-being of our planet and for the health and well-being of humans on our planet, and like figuring out ways that I could step up and take action. And I found myself in different arenas where I'm like, I don't know, like I'm not an expert on this, but I'm a human being and I'm an inhabitant, a resident of planet Earth. Like I'm an Earth being, and there's things that I'm feeling and tuning into inside of myself that feel like they're a part of this equation of like being better stewards of planet Earth. And it really led me to this realization that like we're all activists, like every single one of us, because we're all active within the course of our days and our weeks and our months and our years. Like we're all doing stuff. And I think as women especially, like there's, of course I'm going to do the stuff to tend to my daughter's needs. Of course I'm going to tend to my husband's needs with cancer. Like, of course I'm going to show up for my job because like those things are important. But there's also these like tender places within my heart that are calling me to like stand up and speak out in certain ways and act in certain ways. And it like, I think we all have that. Every single human being has that. And as women, I think we get caught up in all of the busyness. And I remember when we decided to buy the farm, like for me, one of the things was like, well, it's like supporting my husband and pursuing this dream. And we had talked with our girls and like they were really into the idea of like caring for animals and being able to live on a farm. We went and visited lots of farms before we took this step. And I thought for me, like I can support that for all of us. And it sounds wonderful, but also like there will be quiet space in which I can write. Quiet space in which I can like start to lay down the tracks for the book that feels like it's calling to my heart to write. And I think what I want to say to you, if you are, I just want to say this to any of you listening to this, because you're all human beings, like, take time for you. Take time, like, schedule in a little bit of time each day or a lot of time, like, to really tune into your heart, to tune into what matters to you, to tune into, like, what aches inside, what's causing you pain, and what are you doing about it? Take time to like really be present with that. For me, it's like it's climate change, it's our planet, it's caring for our earth. It's, you know, I think within all of us there's got to be an earth activist. Like, it's our nature to care for the things that you know, feed us and nurture us. I think that anything other than that is like we've just like gotten so busy, and we've kind of sold ourselves out to the bigger, better, faster now mindset that's just so prevalent in our society. But I don't think it's a natural part of who we are. And I don't think we have time to wait for anyone else to like fix what's wrong on our planet. Like, we don't have time for that. Like, we are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the ones who need to do this work. And what I found is so true is, like, the more I stand up to take action, the more I see other people coming to the arena to take action too. And my action looks unique to me, as everybody else's will look unique to them. So I'm just offering myself, like, if there's things that you feel moved to do, there's steps you feel moved to take, but you don't know how to begin, like, reach out to me. If you want help, reach out to me. You can send me a message through YouTube. You can send me a message through Facebook. You can send me a message through Instant Messenger. You can send me a message through my email. You can go onto my website, kellygreencoaching.com, and you can send me a message through there. You can request a phone call. Like, I just, you know, action looks like being willing to talk about what concerns us. Being willing to go to this place of, no, everything's not okay. Like, everything's not okay on our planet. And yet, like, I can find ways to be okay within the everything's not okay scenario. And I want to do more to help make everything okay, because our children's lives, their futures depend on it. Stopping the progression of cancer on our planet to just countless people is, like, it depends on our willingness to take action. So I think one of the things that a lot of people say to me is, like, I don't know what to do. You know, it feels so big and overwhelming that I don't know what to do. And I just want to say, like, it's normal to not know what to do in the face of such a overwhelming problem. It's normal to want to numb out. It's normal to want to turn the other way. It's normal to just look within your own kind of, like, okay, I can recycle and I can compost and I can do those things. But I think most people are beginning to wake up to, like, okay, that's not enough. Like, I don't even know if the compost and the, you know, like, if the recycling is going to the place where I think it's going. So if you've made it this far in this video, I want you to know that, like, through action, I feel hopeful. Through action and through, like, engaging in activism with other people, I feel more and more hopeful all the time. And, like, time is not going to stop. The busyness is never going to go away. You know, I was waiting to kind of, like, be able to carve out more time for myself in this work, and then Tim got diagnosed with cancer. And I think the first thing that washed over me was with, like, oh shit, now I really have to stop. And Tim looked at me and he's like, I don't want you to stop. Like, I don't want you to give that up. And it's had to change. Like, it looks different than it did before, but different isn't bad. It actually feels like the forms of activism that I'm engaging in now which are really like talking to you and writing, and engaging in more selective forms of activism that really align with me. Like that feels right to me, because that's where most of my, like that's where I feel most energized. So in my heart of hearts, like that's what I long to help other people find for themselves. That's what I long to help other women find for themselves. And especially women who are like juggling everything, wearing all the hats and doing all the stuff of a responsible adult life, and feeling like this increasing concern for this overwhelming problem, and saying like, yeah, I want to do more. I don't know where to start, but I'm willing. Like that's really all that's needed to get started, is to raise your hand and say, I don't know, but I'm willing. I don't even understand the problem fully, but I'm willing. So if that's you, reach out to me, or reach out to like, any number of, there's just so many groups. I think one of the overwhelming things too is like, when you don't know where to start, you don't even know what group to reach out to. You don't know who can help you answer those questions of like, what form of activism is right for you. So that's what I long to help you find, people find. I had a woman at work come to me and say, my son is 11, I think he was 11, and he's like really angsty about this problem. And, I'm just busy with like making food and tending to our, I think they have 4 children, and I don't understand this problem, and I don't know how to speak to him. I know it's a problem, but I don't know what to do about it. And yet it breaks my heart to see his concern, and he's coming to me saying, Mom, like, but what more can we do? And she's like, honey, we recycle and we compost and we do these things. He's like, no, more. Like, what more can we do? And we just sat together, and like 15-20 minutes later, like she walked away with some really easy, simple things. And I said, you don't need to know what to do, but you can honor that he feels concern, and that you share that concern, and you can empower him to be the one who's in the know in your family. You can take him to the library. You guys can find some family movies to watch together so that you can all understand the problem better. You can help him at the library, like talk with the librarian and find books that will help give him answers to the, like, what more can we do? And so like that was enough to put her at ease. It was enough for her to like empower him, to put him at ease. And I think if we're honest with ourselves, like, I don't know, I think this problem is creating a lot of dis-ease, and it's showing up and manifesting in so many different ways. And how could it not? Like, how could it not? But we are the ones we've been waiting for, and we've got it in us to look this problem in the eyes and open our hearts to it. And we can't do all this stuff. I can't be you. You can't be me. But you have answers in you that are unique to you. And if you're having trouble finding them, I'm definitely happy to help you get there. So if you want to learn more on that front, you can go to kellygreencoaching.com. I haven't updated it in a while, but that's kind of the work of my heart. And I'm so grateful that I took the steps that I did prior to Timmy's diagnosis, because it feels like it gives me an anchor or a tether to my work and to what moves in my heart. So, all right, this is my longest video yet. If you made it this far, thank you. I love you. I'm so grateful for you just being willing to listen to me. I'm grateful for you following our journey. I know that you are navigating a busy life too, and you've got lots of things that you're juggling and lots of things that you're concerned about. So just kudos to you for all that you're doing, and that's it. Sending you lots of love. Peace.